The people who are actually the racists do not ever agree they're being racist. You're a black woman, you're a black person. That segregation, it breaks me because she feels that maybe I'm a potter. If you show up the way you are, that's how I'm going to accept you.
Proudly Nigerian, proudly Igbo. I will change that for the world.
Do you understand? Like, life is for the living,
and I'm gonna live it.
We have a very long way to go when it comes to this thing 100%. And topic called racism.
Hello, everybody, and this is another episode of the Chronicles of an Immigrant podcast. And obviously, you guys should know me already. But for our new listeners, my name is Mo. I'm Nigerian, and we're here to talk about the theme of migration, the journey of migration, the stories of immigrants across the world. Now, today's episode is going to be about racism because people do not understand what racism actually looks like, how it is. So I brought somebody very, very special to help us, dissect what racism is, But before we talk about that, she's going to introduce herself, tell us where she's from, and we're going to go into the topic. Now let's go over to our guest. Hello.
So hi, everyone watching. And thank you so much for having me on here today.
Thank you for coming. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So I would start off with an introduction. So my name is Muna Chisu. Yes. I'm Nigerian. And
you're an immigrant.
Yes. I am an immigrant.
You're an immigrant. So before we start, you're going to take us on. When did you move to the United Kingdom?
Okay, so I moved to the UK in 2017. That's 2017.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you remember the exact day?
On the 27th of November. 2017.
You never forget your migration day, do you?
Yes, you don't.
You never. And how did you come?
So I came through this spouse route. So my husband was already here.
Okay.
Had naturalized already here.
Okay.
So we got married. So I needed to join him.
And how has the journey been so far?
Ooh.
In one word, if you could summarize, if somebody calls you and says, if you could summarize your migration journey in one word.
In one word. It's been a journey.
It's been a journey.
Yes.
The good, the bad, and the everything in
Definitely.
between.
So the good, the bad, the ugly. It's been a journey. It's had its ups and downs, the hiccups, the turbulences, the experiences, the lessons. I think it's just been life.
Yeah. And what would you say was the hardest part of the journey for you?
The hardest part of the journey for me, I mean, in what sense in particular?
There are some moments in life where you just know that, this part was tough. And there are some times you just know, this time, I like these times. These times.
So I think the tough times, I would say, I don't think they stop coming. We'll keep encountering them. So when you say the tough times, I don't think we've stopped I will stop experiencing the tough times. Is life. It's bound to happen and we're bound to meet it in life. But I think the worst phase of this journey for me have been the phases where I have been made to remember that I don't belong here. I'm not part of this. You're a black woman. You're a black person. That segregation, that straight on discrimination that looks at you, it comes at you, they do it to you, and you're now caught up from where I'm from. I have not ever thought I was, any less or any more. I've always been told, of course, we're all equal, isn't it?
Exactly.
So in those moments where I experienced racism, discrimination, it breaks my soul. It breaks me. When I say it breaks me, I would say that with every honesty.
Yeah.
Because if you don't go, you don't know.
You don't, do you? And okay, so as an immigrant woman,
yeah,
you don't necessarily understand what racism looks like or what racism is.
Yeah.
Because you're coming from an environment where everybody looks like you. Everybody sounds like you.
Definitely.
Everybody acts like you. You know how Nigerians become very loud if you want to. Become very extra. Everybody is very us.
We're just us.
That's just who we are.
Exactly.
And then you're coming to an environment whereby you just realize that people are acting different, but you don't know what it is. What is racism?
To be fair, I would say racism is relative to anyone trying to define what it is, because the people who are actually the racists do not ever agree they're being racist to anyone saying, oh, you're being racist.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the reason why I would say it's relative. But let the person feeling a certain way or who is feeling off say how he or she feels or how they feel about a certain situation. And when they tell you how they feel, the least you could do is, you can choose not to validate their point or their pain, but the least you could do is to acknowledge whatever they're saying. If I tell you the way you've spoken to me, I don't like it, or the names you've called me, I don't like it, just apologize. It's very easy to do.
Yeah, because I would say, like, sometimes when things happen to me, I will say, I ask myself the question, is this person being racist or this person being a prick?
Yeah.
Do you get, because, and from that experience, I choose to term racism as an act whereby somebody does something to somebody different that you would not have ordinarily done to somebody that you think is of the same kind as you are.
Yeah. Yes. I think sometimes it comes as if it's a pick and choose. They know, because we're all humans, adults, even kids, of course, still witness racism as we target. But the truth is, a racist knows he's racist. A racist know they're racist. I don't think there's any excuse as to how and when or what does it look like. I just feel that whoever is encountering that and tells you how they feel, the least you could do is to just acknowledge that you're being racist and just redress your steps.
Yeah. But how can you then, because I met somebody recent and this person is a new immigrant. She just came to the country and she was like, every time she speaks, people keep saying, pardon. Like, she's like, is it not the same English that I'm speaking? Like, what's going on here?
So
in that context, you can't say we can't tell that as being racist,
Yeah, because it's possible that they're not hearing you.
Yes.
It's possible that they're not understanding you. But what I say all the time is that I don't fail to remind whoever who is thinking or acting like they can't hear me, I don't fail to remind you that English is not my first language and I am not apologetic.
Yeah.
Not anywhere.
For it,
anywhere near being apologetic.
I own my accent unapologetically.
Exactly. I mean, I have an identity. I have a heritage. I come from somewhere. I have a language. I have a dialect. I have an accent. And I was taught English language. I was forced to learn it.
Yeah, and I was taught English language by somebody who is of the same dialect as I am.
Exactly.
So you don't expect me to speak differently because that was how I was taught.
Exactly. And also one thing people fail to understand is that I don't have to speak in your accent for whatever it is I'm saying to sort of make sense. I don't have to sound like you for you to listen. There are people who are fortunate to have a very good command of English language.
Yeah.
There are people who are very unfortunate to not have it, not because they haven't learned it or because they can't speak that way or have that command, but their dialect, their accent is sort of a hindrance. Does that make sense?
Yes, 100%.
So for me, if anyone tries to act like they're not understanding me, I'm not apologetic.
Yeah.
English is not my first language.
Yeah.
I was taught this English language and I came from somewhere, I have a background. I have an accent, right? So you almost have to even applaud me.
Tricky. And we have to also look at it in this
Applaud
way.
me because you don't know my language.
Exactly. Can you pronounce my name?
Exactly.
Obviously, you can't pronounce my name because you do not know my language.
Exactly.
And if I cannot, for the life of God, I cannot pronounce, I cannot like speak like how you can speak, it shouldn't be a problem, should it?
Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem. So there are people who feel very bad, and there are people who don't have the, what's it called again? The tough skin.
Yeah.
I think I grew a certain level of tough skin upon arriving in England. Yes. Because when you start attaching emotions and sentiments to things, you could fall off the radar.
100%.
You could be misinterpreted. You could be misunderstood.
Yeah.
Right? But I intentionally had to develop. Some people could say resilience.
Yeah.
But I say soft skin.
You have to do
you understand? Like, I had to develop that soft skin because sometimes they abuse you intentionally. They know what they're doing, but they make you very subtle to sort of make it look like it's not what you're thinking we're doing, but they know they're doing that.
Yeah, and then you can't even report it because there's even nothing to report.
Yeah, and that's why you almost have to grow the tough skin. When you grow that tough skin, you know, you should actually now know when do I react? Is it worth reacting? Is this something I can actually confront? Is this something I can speak about? Is this something I can talk about? If I talk about it, will I be told, can you just sit down? Would I be disregarded? Would I be listened to?
Yeah.
Even if I'm listened to, would any action be taken?
Yeah.
Would anyone be held accountable? So for me, it's not just about reporting racism. Yeah. I feel like we have a very long way to go when it comes to this thing 100%. And topic called racism.
100%.
Because the people who are racists do not, barely, ever accept they're being racist. And the people who are being on the receiving end of this act, when they share their experiences, the least you can do as a listener, as anybody listening, is to just listen, hear them out.
And also, there's also a fear about talking about it and calling it out. Like, I feel like there's this, most of the people that experience racism, I would say that there's this fear of, if I call out that this is a racist act, like, how would people react to it? Would they feel like I'm the one with the problem? It's just like life. With every time there's a victim, the victim is always scared to speak up.
Yeah. So what I would say with that is just pick and choose your battles.
Yeah.
Pick and choose your battles.
Yeah.
Pick the things you want to speak about. Pick the things you want to let go. Pick the things you are willing to sort of let it slide. But when it's impacting your mental health, when you know is having or is going to have a very negative adverse effect on you
as a person,
just talk about it. Speak up about it. Yeah, because the irony of all of this conversation is that this has been there for many years. It's been there for many years, right? And all we can do is to share our stories, not the stories that have been printed and kept online for somebody to go and read, right? For example, you see things like when it comes to Black History Month, people try to make it look like it's some special moment or period. I don't think it's special.
Every day is Black History Month for me.
I mean, do you understand? Every day is Black History Month to some people. Every day, some people want that month to come for them to feel like they're being heard or they're being seen or they're being appreciated. But look, how are we sure those are not for the print? How are we sure that it's not a tick box exercise?
It's not how are we sure. It is. I'm not trying to be. It is a tick box exercise.
Do you get it?
Because at the end of the day, when we celebrate Black History Month, what do we get from it? There's nothing.
Sometimes you're not even allowed to share your story.
Exactly.
I had a situation where it was Black History Month, and I had a story, my own lived experience on racism. I mean, when I say lived experience, that almost cost me. I don't want to say my life because it would be maybe very true, but I'm going to share that story someday.
You're not ready to share it today.
I'm not ready to share it today. I will share it someday when I think I'm healing. I haven't completely healed. And that's why I keep struggling to say, I will share it someday. But then again, when I heal, and I keep wondering, would I ever heal from that?
Yeah.
Because it's just here now.
Do you know the thing about healing from stuff is, for you to heal from it, you have to take control of it.
Yes, I think I'm getting there. Prior to now, I'll just quickly just get emotional when I just went married.
Yeah.
But I think I'm able to, with the support of family, friends, I'm able to even want to talk about it or share snippets of it, right? So in this period, I said, I'm not going to just act like I'm taking, who was the first Black person to fly? Who was the first? No. I think sometimes it's the theme of this event, we should leverage on them.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So this one was reclaiming the narrative, which is the last one. So I shared my story, and I was legit approached to say, we're afraid we can't publish that. And I'm torn between, am I being silenced or am I being, I don't know what it is though. And you guys are the people who are willing and acting like you won't celebrate Black History Month, and is about reclaiming the narrative.
Only when it suits their narrative.
Exactly. So they let you know what you want to know about Black History Month. So they let you know how they want it to come across. They let you know what you need to say. So my question is usually, if you are uncomfortable to hear those stories, then you're guilty. You're part of the failed system.
Yes.
You get?
Yeah.
If you are scared, you're worried, you're very... You're like, oh my God, I don't want to hear that. I wrote the story, and it wasn't even the whole story. It was snippets of my own lived experience. And I was legit told, no, we can't share this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when I asked, why can't it be shared? They said, it's too sensitive. I said, that's the point. That's the whole idea. That's the point. It's my story. And even if I'm not allowed to share it this moment, I think someday, if I write a book,
you can't control
it.
And the interesting thing is that when you then write your book, those same people that said you can't share it, are the same people who come and say, can you share that?
Exactly.
And it's all about taking control of your narrative, taking control, giving yourself back the power that you think some people have taken from you.
Yes.
I used to say, the common, if you know me, the common thing I used to say is that nobody can look down on you when you're looking up.
Exactly. And there's something else my dad would always say. He would say, they can't call you, they can't say you are until you say I am. If I tell you my name is Muna, that's what you're going to call me. You wouldn't call me a different name. Does that make sense?
100%.
So you would 100%. Call me what I've told you to call me.
Yeah.
So if I don't condone oppression, intimidation, right, subordination, I don't think you need to do it, because it doesn't sit well with everybody.
Yeah.
And that's why I always wonder, if have the media done more harm than good when it comes to certain sensitive conversations?
Tell me about it.
Have the media done more harm than good?
Yeah.
Because the media chooses the ones they want to show you.
100%.
The media, and in the media choosing is about who is in control, who is behind that, right? For example, there was this commercial that did trend sometime. I don't want to call names, but there was a commercial around a Black bride. I'm sure you remember. Do you remember that?
My memory is not there. I won't call it the best.
A Black bride, with on a commercial, with obviously a white groom, white parents, mom and dad present, and Black mom present, but Black dad not present.
So they're trying to
it took people talking.
Yeah.
It spoke a lot.
Because what are you trying to say? That most Black people are from single homes.
Do you understand it? So when I looked at that and that period, I was broken, because I wouldn't say I'm blessed or opportuned. I would say I'm lucky or I'm privileged to have a father who is 101% present in my life from my formative stage up until today. Right? So I'm not like, why do you, and that thing of supremacy.
Yeah.
At every slightest given opportunity, supremacy wants to be projected. We are better. I am better. Let's talk down on them. Let's look down on them. And I'm just here sat down. I'm saying on my wedding day, my dad was present. Do you understand it?
Yeah.
If you want to be, sometimes you don't need to talk. It's action. That commercial spoke louder than 1 billion people
could have said,
uttering racist words at people.
And those things, they have a way of just, you know, it's like what you watch has a way. You don't even digest it. Like you keep watching and you keep watching and you keep watching, and unconsciously you build a narrative of that commercial.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So people just kept talking against it. Like, why would you? First of all, what the bride was even eating is not even inclusive. It's not what a black bride would eat on her wedding day. Now it's fine for the groom to be there with his parents, and it's not okay to have a black presence.
Yeah,
there's no representation of a black father. So what is that? What is that commercial which is going to be on literally on the ground, billboards, everywhere? Talking that, let's say a little black girl comes across that. What do you think that picture that spoke such volume would send to that black girl? So maybe by the time I am of age to get married, my father wouldn't be there. Why wasn't the other man missing? Why wasn't the other woman missing?
Because it could be it's not a subject of race, it's not a subject of how you look like. It could happen to anybody. And life could happen. It's not even a matter of, you know, it's even a matter of you living divorced parents. It could be, you know, someone might die. Like anything can happen.
Why do they have to portray perfection at every single, like perfection to the extreme? But when it comes to the other person, there's always something, there's always a fault.
Yeah. I get what you mean.
So that commercial spoke volume. It broke me. I did make a post about it, right? And I had people who said, oh, well, if you were opportuned to have your dad, that doesn't mean every black girl have their dad in their life. I'm like, but then again, that narrative still transcends to the other race, because I'm sure not all y'all of you have your dad and moms in your life.
Yes, is definitely.
Do you understand? So sometimes actions speaks louder. I mean, it's not even sometimes. It's said. It's a saying that action speaks louder than voice. And when people project certain things on you, you begin to imagine a black boy coming across that commercial. What would he think? What would he think if that was to be a black boy looking at that? Okay, which means I don't have a life. I don't have a future. I can't grow into something. She gets so like it's appalling. But what do you think? Like, we can talk about it from now to next year. Yeah,
like,
definitely.
I don't feel like 50 years from now, so many people have fought, so many people have spoken about it, so many people have done about it, but we're still speaking about the thing that some people spoke about 100 years ago. So there's no, if the world still exists in 100 years' time, I'm sure some people will be sitting down again speaking about speaking about it.
Yes.
But like, how as a people in this present generation, what do we need to do to eliminate racism? How can, not just that, you know, there's some people, the halliships, I don't know if you have heard about the word, like support. Like, how can people support the cause of eliminating racism?
To be honest, I just feel like just own your story. Share your story when you need to share your story. And there's a mantra I go by. If you have younger generation, if you have younger ones, if you have a younger community, if you have a community of people who look like you, make sure you indoctrinate them.
Yeah. Like,
make sure you indoctrinate them.
Yeah.
Because if the media does that for you on them, it will be very, very ugly.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say that again and again and again. If you are, because there are a lot of words and terminologies that have been adopted, disadvantaged people,
marginalized,
underrepresented, minority.
Wow,
do you understand it? Because if you were to come to where I am from, we would also say you're minority.
Yeah.
Do you get? So don't use very condescending words to classify humans who are like you. And when it comes to you, is the supremacy is running through your blood. So my mantra is that you need to, wherever you find yourself, own your identity. Put your head up, like just, raise your head up. be human. Because it's very, 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 it's very difficult when you are being lashed, things are thrown for you to want to be human, right? So regardless of what you've been through, it takes you and I to be in the community, it takes you and I to make the world better. Just be human. And in the course of being human, live your truth. Live your truth. Pay forward the kindness. Own your identity.
Own yourself.
Own your identity. Own your heritage. Don't think you need to look like somebody to be accepted. For example, 100%. I carry my native names with pride. I have people say, oh, don't you have an English name? Pardon? No. Do you have an Igbo name? I'm an Igbo woman. From the eastern part of Nigeria.
Which you love.
Which I...
Proudly Nigerian, proudly Igbo. I would change that for the world.
Do you understand? Like, if you read through my ancestry, like where the DNA that runs in me, maybe you understand why I exhibit certain traits. Because, it feels like people are very comfortable projecting what I can't explain. When it's convenient for them. So what I would say is uphold your identity, your culture, your heritage. Speak your truth, live your truth, pay forward kindness, and indoctrinate the younger generations. If you are, educate them. When I say indoctrinate, people might say, oh, that's a very, very, but then again, I'd say it because if I let the media, the society, the public, to indoctrinate my younger ones, it would be very ugly.
True. But what about those ones that don't have anybody to, teach them to what, like for instance, like as I said, the girl that I just met that is a new immigrant, and doesn't have anyone to teach her, and she's listening to this podcast right now. What's the one thing you would give to her, like, so that on how to navigate that journey?
I think sometimes, when we seek validation, we lose our true identity. So people seeking validation sometimes is subconsciously a negative thing, because if you show up the way you are, that's how I'm going to accept you. Valid. So if you show up looking uncomfortable, looking not confident, looking not I am who I am, then I will see the loophole. I would see the space to kind of pinch you and exploit you. But if you show up the way you are, I might be the scared one. I might be the scared one, right? I might be the one that'll be like, oh, wow, who's that? But generally, for anyone listening, right, what I would say is own yourself.
Be who you are. About it.
You don't have to look like me to think that you'll get certain things. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in, right? But always make sure that you're seeking support. Look out for communities that have people who can advocate for you. Look at and also audit your what you listen to, audit the things you read, audit the things you watch, audit the people you follow on social media. You have to almost be around people who speak life into you, people who post things that make sense to you, that resonates with you, that uplifts you, because what you become what you watch. You become what you hear. You become what you see. So you almost have to choose, what do I edit off? What do I take away? What do I bring in? But ultimately, what I would say is, you are who you are, and your uniqueness is the reason why the world is the way it is. And because you are unique, because you're unique, you are enough. Because you're unique. Because tell me why I don't have to be comfortable or confident. Because even if they say, oh, I saw someone that looks like you, that person is not me. Oh, I met somebody who's bearing the same name as you. That's not me. That's not me. If we were to walk through the airport now and do our biometrics, it wouldn't be the same.
Own yourself.
Do you understand it? That's a reminder. It has to live in here. It's a constant reminder. It has to live up here. And sometimes it's very easy for us to fall off the radar to think, oh God, oh my God. Don't get me wrong. I get that weak. I get that broken. I get that I can't do this anymore. I get that this is a wrong decision. Why am I here? I shouldn't have been here. Worst feeling ever. But I sometimes, sort of wake up and say, you know what? Life is for the living.
And I'm going to live it.
I'm going to live it. And as long as I'm alive, healthy and hearty, I would show up.
like that.
and show off. I would literally show up and show off. I've had situations where, let's say I'm sick, right? And I've had senior managers, right? Or I've had colleagues say, "Oh, you don't look sick." I'm like, "Oh yeah, because you can't relate to my sickness." Right? And what I don't find appealing or very pleasant is that there are certain questions you're being asked. There are certain things that's being said to you that you're meant to be to tolerate it. But if you were to ask that same question, it will be breach of like your trespassing, boundaries, right? So I feel that all of these things, but racism, microaggression, subtle aggression, unfairness, discrimination, they all fall under same word.
Valid.
Either equality or inequality. There's something you're trying to drag.
Yeah.
But you as an entity, as an individual, as a person, as an adult, the most you can do for yourself is to lead your truth, show up and show off. Be who you are. Own yourself. I don't have to adopt an English name to feel like I'm English, because I would never, ever be seen as one.
Yeah.
Even when, I'm natural, I've naturalized
100%.
and there is still that you're not white. You'll be called black.
Yeah.
That's it.
That I don't want to say anything. I don't even have anything to say. But there's one thing there's this one thing I just want to use as a disclaimer.
Okay.
And the thing about it is that because this month, this day, which people don't really know about, but if you go on Google, you will find a day for everything.
Yeah.
So, the International Day for the Elimination of Racism. And I'm trying to put a disclaimer out there that racism is not particular to a particular race. It can happen to anybody. Yeah. Anybody can feel like, this is an uncomfortable thing. This is racist. Exactly. It can happen to any group of people, not just, people might think it's just black people, but no. No, it's not. It's not.
It's not at all.
It is not. It's not. So there's something you say you wanted to read out. Do you want to read that out for us before you forget?
Yes. I was going to read something out. Yes. And that is... Okay. So is...
Read it!
When we shine too bright, when we rise too high, when we stop being grateful for scraps. The system design is perfect. Keep us hopeful, but hungry. Keep us visible, but voiceless. Keep us present, but powerless. Keep us working, but wounded. Keep us tired, but trying. Then we become too much. Our confidence becomes threatening. Our excellence becomes intimidating. Our ambition becomes aggressive. Our leadership becomes problematic. Our success becomes suspicious. And then suddenly, the mentorship disappears. The support evaporates. The celebrations stop. The isolation begins. And the targeting starts. Can you relate to that? Can you relate to that? I know.
I will leave the listeners to answer that question.
I know. The part that hit me is the targeting starts. They claim they want to offer you this.
Yeah.
But the moment you get that, it becomes a problem. Why should she have it? Why should he have it?
Do you know what? Yesterday, sometimes I have one of those moments where things just usually slap me on the go. You know those moments where you're just working and something will just be slapping.
Yeah.
And then yesterday I was like, I go into spaces every time and I get underestimated. Every time I go into spaces and I'm underestimated. I'm like, you people, you don't know what I can do. If only you knew what I'm capable of doing. Yeah. Or you, I don't even know what to say.
I know it's that bias, both the conscious bias and the unconscious bias, is just there in their head to say, she's not qualified. He's not qualified.
But the interesting part is I don't even see it as anything, because I feel like this, I don't want to say, use the word prove, but this is an opportunity to see the look on your face when I prove you otherwise.
I don't need to prove anything to you, to be honest. It's stressful mentally.
That's why I don't want to use the word prove. So, and that look in itself for me is priceless.
Yeah, I know.
Now, when I see the look on somebody's face and I say, I say, yeah. I walk into spaces every time and people underestimate me every time. It's like my daily bread.
Oh, and that feels very awful. That feeling is awful.
I don't actually feel. I don't think I feel awful. I feel it gives me power,
For me, yeah. I mean, I personally, I think it's an awful feeling.
Yeah.
But it takes resilience in you to sort of, shake off that. Because sometimes you're down.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been to spaces where, it feels like. Okay, first of all, I think I've been on a job where I was going to bring someone in for an interview.
Yeah.
And I went to bring someone for interview, and the person was asking, "Are you the one who would interview me?" I didn't quite understand that. I'm coming.
It's happened to
me
because
I wanted to understand. I'm not someone who wants to assume things. I like to talk you through so that when I want to quote you, I'm quoting you.
Yeah.
So when I asked her, "Is there any problem? Like, were you giving names of people who are going to interview you, or were you expecting somebody else?" She said no, that she was asking because she feels that maybe I'm a potter.
Mm.
And I said, okay, no, I'm not. But there's nothing wrong being a potter,
Mm.
Yeah, so when I said that to her, she looked at me and I just said, you know what? I was caught up between, should I carry on with this interview? Should I be on the panel? But then again, those are things you meet on the journey of life.
Yeah.
That destabilized me. That made me feel uncomfortable. And when I went on my list, she wasn't even on my list. Then unfortunately, the person that was meant to be, one of the person's colleagues that was meant to be on that list had gone out for lunch.
Mm.
So because they were there, we didn't want to keep them waiting. I was asked to fill up the panel. And when I got in, she was destabilized. I could see her face. You could see. It was just like,
yeah.
And I made her comfortable. I mean, I shouldn't make her uncomfortable. She's there for an interview. She's there for a job. She needs the job. But then again, it's just that thing of bias.
Yeah.
Keep it out. Just keep it somewhere. Flush it off.
It is well.
Don't always think that because somebody looks a certain way, that they're minority.
Yeah.
And I tell people, if they call you minority and that's okay by you, that's on you. I don't think I'm minority.
Yeah.
I am who I am.
I am who I am, and I am majority in my own world.
Exactly.
Okay, so before we go, we do something. We ask people, what's your dream? That's why we put my dreams are valid. Like,
my dreams are valid.
What's your dream?
Oh my God.
If God should come down now and say, give me, what's your dream?
You took me off guard. Yes. Oh my God, I didn't see this one coming. I didn't see that coming. So what's my dream? I'm sure everyone has dreams.
Yeah.
Everyone has dreams. So what's my dream? I think my dream for when I was younger, I kind of shifted. My dream for being an adult shifted.
Yeah.
Then my dream being in the country I find myself today shifted. Then my dream being a parent shifted as well. So I think at every stage in life, our dreams kind of fluctuate and, be all over the place. So, but presently, one of my very major, or one of the things I would say is my dream. I can't change the world to start. Let's not come and say I want to change the world. No, I won't change the world. But I want to continue, because I'm already doing that. I want to continue to keep advocating for people who feel that they are being marginalized. I want to continue to keep advocating for my race. Right. And it's not just adults. It's not just like people who can actually speak for themselves.
Yeah.
So my dream is that I want to continue to be present, to be visible to the younger generation. Of Black boys and girls.
And let's cheers to that and say your dreams are valid. You say, tell us your dreams are valid.
My dreams are valid.
Your dreams are valid. Let's cheers.
My dreams are valid. So advocating for people of color, which they call that But I would say Black people like myself, and the Black people like myself are the younger generation, because we're always, it's easy for us to get lost in our train of thought, in our daily doings, and think about us.
100%.
And nobody is reflecting to say, this younger generation, what would it be for? What would be for them? What would it look like for them? How would they perceive certain things? How would certain things that will hit them? How would they stand firm? You know, so I would keep teaching, educating, reminding you that your dreams are valid.
Yes.
And reminding you that the society and the media and the community can't define you for you. You have to define yourself for us. You have to tell us who you are.
I like that.
Yes,
Your dreams
that's my
are
dream.
valid. I like that. I like that. Hello, everybody. And this is the Chronicles of an Immigrant podcast. And today I want to say a day for the elimination of racism. And we stand for it. We stand against it. We stand about it. And we stand everything.
Obviously.
Spreading the word that, you are not alone in this journey. However you might be feeling, you're not alone.
Okay.
There are a lot of people with you. Don't, as you said, as Mona said, reach out. We have a community, reach out to us. And we're really, really excited to welcome people into our migrant community.
Yes.
Wherever you might be from, you are welcome. And don't forget, your dreams are valid.
Valid.
See you guys in the next episode. Bye.